That's bare minimum basic. It's much easier than typing into the address bar. I'd just save in your favorites, or if it's your first time going there, I'd head over to Google and just type in Infinity Blade Forum. Okay, it'll find it. First thing that pops up, boom. So you'll see here I've kind of set my custom theme using the Infinity Blade 2 skin. There are other skins, and I'll show that to you later. Just as kind of a little brief talk about what I'm going to talk about here. This is going to be a brief 3-video series, 3-part series for the YouTube channel. And this first video is just going to be more about the basics on how you actually post comments, post new threads, when you should post a thread, just the basics. Okay, so if you already kind of know the basics of the forum and you're more interested in, how to find certain things, then I would wait for the next video. Okay, so just starting off here, we can see that we have the basic navigation. Welcome grantnoe, that's me. Notifications is just the inbox. My profile, settings, logout, search bar. All the pages that we see in this, all the different threads, pages of threads for this forum. We have some sticky threads, and I'll explain that in a second. You can see kind of the bars behind them are a little darker gray than the rest of them. And then we have all this confusing whatnot that I'll break down in a moment. So I know it looks a little overwhelming at first, and keep in mind that you don't need to post like 5 different threads the first time you join to get people to notice you, because everything appears at the top when it is the newest thing that is posted. Okay? So you can see here this thread was posted today at 9:06. It's at the top. It's not put at the bottom. So you can see that's right at the top. We'll see it for sure. Alright, so people who join the forum, people you may see on the forum, obviously the best players of Infinity Blade may come to the forum to flaunt their skill or to try out for one of the clubs, and I'll explain the clubs later. People who do fan art, we have an excellent fan artist, Lazar, and you can see his thread here. Where is it? Here. Okay. People who theorize about the storyline, so just different theories. Players that need gameplay help. This is a big one, gameplay help, and I'll cover that. Players that have bugs that need to be addressed. This is also fairly common. Often there are fixes for it. People who want news on the game or future updates, just want to stay updated on the status of the game or future games. Players that wish to learn from the best to become the best. And this has actually happened quite a lot. I've seen it happen where new players will come to the forum, they'll read some guides on the forum and become one of the people writing the guides on the forum. It's quite an amazing phenomenon, actually. And of course the occasional troll, and I'll explain the trolls later. Alright, so first is navigating the forum. So you're all probably wondering, what is a thread? If you don't know what a thread is, that is totally fine. I completely understand. I wouldn't have known when I first came to a forum either. So, a thread is basically just a topic that someone can post. All of these are threads. Alright? So, you'll notice if we click on a random thread, the thread has an old post, a main post, right here. It'll always appear at the top, and then under it you can comment, so different people can comment on your thread. Alright, so you can kind of see the mini navigation here when you click on a thread. This is where we are now, can't click on it, but if you want to go back to Infinity Blade instead of to have to find the Infinity Blade forum in the forum area, just click Infinity Blade, it'll take you straight back. Alright, so that's basically what a thread is and basically what a comment is. So now we can talk a little bit about the arrows to jump to things. You can see here that these have dark text and these have lighter text, or bold rather. Reason being, I haven't read these yet. Okay, so that's what makes it dark, is when I haven't read it. Alright, so if I want to jump to the most recent thing that I haven't read, I can click on that, go to first new post, and that's new relative to me. Alright, but usually what I do is I click these arrows here, and that just takes me straight to the back. So watch, I'll click this, and you can see here there are 154 replies to this thread, so this will take me to the very last post on the very last page. Boom. Loading. There we go. Oh, look, a penny. Alright, so that is in a nutshell what those arrows are for. So let's break down some of the other things on this main page. I already kind of covered replies. It's just how many people have commented on that thread. And views. This is how many people have looked at it. Alright, so you can see 5,000 views is quite a few views. That means it's probably an important thread in some way, significant somehow. Okay, this is the last person who posted in the thread, and that is when they posted in the thread. And again, that just takes you straight back to that last post. These stars here are the rating, and you can go to any thread, loading, and you can say rate this thread. Alright, so if you want to rate it, you can just go to the main page, rate it. Typically people like it if you rate their threads up. We've had a couple trolls that rate threads down. Not a very cool thing. Okay, so you can kind of see the rest of these aren't super significant. If you want to check those out more in depth, I'm not going to cover it. But there's an icon legend at the bottom of the page, so you can check that out a little more in depth there. Alright, so that is what that is all about. And let's talk about posting new threads. Keep in mind if you're a new member, like you signed up that day, you probably won't be able to post a thread because Epic has to verify your account first. Alright, but maybe check back the next day or in 2 days or something, and you should have this button at the top that says Post New Thread. Alright, so let's click on it. I'm not actually going to post new thread. Don't want to spam the main page here. So you can add a prefix. You don't have to. Spoiler, video. A lot of times people don't have spoilers or videos, so just no prefix. Title for your threads. That's the thread title that we saw on the main page. And then this is all just formatting like in Microsoft Word, but you can type anything you want here. Alright? And then if you want to post it, you can just submit new thread. Or you can preview it. It's up to you. Alright, so that's kind of the basic stuff there. We don't need to go too in-depth on this. If you want to post a poll, and this is kind of occasional, not very often, but people post polls sometimes, so you can post there. If you want to add pictures, and I'll go a little more in depth, if you want to add pictures with links and such, you can go here, but there is a better way to do this, and I'll talk about that in a moment. Alright, back to Infinity Blade. Yes, I want to leave this page. But thanks for asking. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about quotes and quoting, kind of multi-quotes. I don't want to use the meme thread because that has a lot of pictures. Let's go 2K Club. That should have some content we can quote here. Alright, I should have gone to the end. So let's say we wanted to quote Rugged Land here. So you can reply, and that would just take you to the main message replier. But you can also reply with a quote, and you can do that to anybody. So if you want to reply with a quote, you can click there. Alright, and this will actually show up as a quote. Let's see if we can find one as an example. Right here. Alright, so someone did quote Rugged Land, same post. So this is what it would look like if we replied and quoted. Alright, so everything quoted is up here, and then we would add our content like here. So if we looked at Silver's post, he would have typed, I was thinking. Alright, so let's cancel that. Alright, so let's say we wanted to quote, I don't know, Silver and Silver's a beast here. Alright, so we could say reply with quote. Now watch, highlight all this, and copy. Okay. And we could go down here, reply to thread, paste. We could add our content, what we're wanting to respond to that there. And we could actually go up, copy that, and we could reply with a quote to this, give our response, and then paste what we just copied. So this will include, let's enlarge this here. This will include all this quote from Silver, right? Starting quote, ending quote, our feedback to that. And then you can see Silversby stuff here, starting quote, ending quote, and our response to that. So you can actually multi-quote. I'm not sure if there's a preview for this. Let's look, so you can kind of see what we're doing here. Alright, right there. Here's a preview. Okay, so we have our start quote and our end quote for both of these people, and you can see our responses here. Alright, let's cancel this. How about we just go back to this? Didn't prompt me that time, did it? Alright, so that's basically how you post a new thread or a new comment. So let's take a little bit of a look at pictures. Alright. We'll go to the end here. And we're going to find a picture. And I'm just going to go picture. I don't really care what it's a picture of. I'm going to find her on Google Images. Pinterest, I don't really know how that came up, but that's fine. So let's say we wanted to post this on here, and we wouldn't because it's not really relevant to Infinity Blade, but just saying that we were. Alright, so let's copy this, and I'm using the shortcut, but I did copy that. So I'm going to reply to it, and this is just in the quick reply box. All I'm going to do is paste that. But if I just do this and then hit post quick reply, it'll just appear as a link. So what we're going to do is add a shot tag. Oh, nice to have a closing sign. Start shot, and then don't forget the slash to end the shot. And I will delete this post when I finish, but if you post it, you can see it appears here. And if you click it, it'll take you to that area. But the shot tag is how you post a picture. Okay, edit. Delete message. Whoops. Alright. That was intentional. Alright, so that is basically how you do pictures. Links, pretty self-explanatory, just copy and paste the link there. Alright, next is tables, and this is a little more complicated, so you'll have to pay attention. And I'm going to use Bladette, one of Bladette's old threads, as an example for this. So let's find that, Bladette's gameplay videos. It'll open that up in a new tab. Let's get rid of Pinterest here. Okay, so you can see here, he's got an advanced sort of grid thing going on. And I'm kind of doubtful, in fact I know as a matter of fact, that he didn't space these out, just like 20 spaces. He actually used a table. Let's see how this works. Okay, so let's take a quick look at the top of his table first. You can see here he has headings: boss, level, old game, new game, weapon, elemental damage, pure crack, and who did it, by whom. Alright, so let's go ahead and say reply with quote just so we can look at the code. We're not going to actually reply though. So you can see his table starts here. Every table starts with this, and it would end with a tag that looks like this, with a slash. Okay? TR means table row. So you can say this is the beginning of a row, and this is the end of a row. So remember those headings we looked at? This is all going across. Remember, road goes horizontally. Okay, so what do we have here? TD is basically just the different sections in the row. Boss, level, old game, new game, weapon, elemental damage, pure crack, and buy. That is what is in that row. So what do you want to bet? The next row down in his table is going to have raid REAR, and then a link, old game 330, etc. Let's look. Okay, this has the link, old game 330, dual, light, and there's the raid REAR. Okay, so you can kind of see how that works. So you can create each row individually, and then just don't forget to close up the table with a slash table. Alright, and let's see if we can find that at the end of this. It's kind of long, but I'm sure we can come to it. Here it is. End table. Alright. So that is how you do a table. It's pretty simple actually. So let's look at a URL. If you don't want to just post a URL, like whatever the URL connection is for all of these, you don't want to have this HTTP, etc. showing on there, what you can do, let's delete all this. What you can do is say, let's say we wanted to do you wanted a link to Google, but you didn't want it to look like this. in your post. We want it to look, we want it to say plus for whatever reason. So let's just highlight it, and then click this little world with the, it looks like an infinity sign, but it's supposed to be like a chain link or something. Not a very good graphic. Okay, so we're just gonna hit, oops, that's not what I meant to do. Alright, here's our link. Copy the link. Paste. Okay, so it puts this code in here. And one way of doing it is just putting the URL tags around it, but why would we do that? It's too complicated. Alright, so we're going to change this. And I'm just going to add this for a second. Notice start bracket, end bracket, and it has the URL in parentheses here. Alright, but in between here is what it will show up as. Okay, so we wanted to say what? Plus. Okay, so we just type plus in here. So you put the URL in the first two brackets and in parentheses, and then after that first URL bracket ends, then you can say whatever you want it to look like, and then you can see there it'll have the closing URL tag. And let's just go ahead and go advanced so that we can see a preview of that. Here we have it, plus. And if you hover over it, you can click on it. Let's click on it. It takes us to Google. Fantastic. That's what we wanted it to do. Alright, let's exit out of that. So that is basically just how you do pictures, links, and tables. Alright, so just to answer a couple quick questions. What if you're on a phone and not on a computer because you don't have access to a computer? Easy resolution to that is just Tap a Talk, and that is a fantastic app. Let's go ahead and take a look at it real fast. Fantastic app for the iPhone. I'm not sure if it's on any other, I guess we're about to see any other devices. Alright, so it looks like it has iPhone, iPad, Android, BlackBerry, and Chrome. Then again, I guess if you're playing Infinity Blade, you should have an iPhone or an iPad. So Tap a Talk works if you don't have a computer. You can access all of the forum stuff from Tap a Talk. And maybe I'll kind of show you guys how to work that later. But for now, I'm going to stick to the forum. Alright, also, what is this sticky thread? Can't forget that. So again, I said that they have kind of the gray background there, and they all say sticky next to them. Okay, these are like the most important or most looked at threads on the forum. Maybe not by the view count, as you can see here, because some of them are more popular down here, like 28,000, right? But they must be used a lot, or they're important, like an admin can put something important. How do you get a sticky? You have to request it from an admin, or other people can kind of vote it in, but still an admin has to do it. Alright, so that's how you get a sticky thread. But what is the purpose of having a sticky? It is the top of every single page. So let's go to page 2. And take a look at the top white one here, Blade Slinger. Page 2. And lagging. Okay, no longer Blade Slinger. These are new threads, but the sticky threads are still here, still at the top. Okay, so you can see what a sticky thread is. Those are important threads. Alright, any other questions? I guess we can take a quick look at account settings, profiles, and private messages. Let's take a quick look there. So let's look at account settings first. So you have an inbox, send items. You can send new messages, track messages, etc. Notice that your inbox and sent messages actually have, a limit. So you want to watch that. And if you're kind of running low on space, you can select messages. So let's say we select this one. Selected messages, we can delete, and then proceed. Okay, and that'll delete the message and it'll open up more space for me. Okay, so let's go back to settings. And so that's basically how the messages work. And I'll show you kind of how to send a message to someone else in a second. Alright. So you can edit your profile. That's not super significant, but you'll probably want to claim an avatar. So check that out. Pretty self-explanatory once you get there. You can also edit your signature, and I'll show you a signature right now, since you probably don't know what that is. The rest of this doesn't really need to be explained. So let's go to the forum, and again, this is what you kind of want to avoid when you're inside the Infinity Blade forum, just by kind of using the Infinity Blade button, not to have to scroll through this list. Of course, I know right where it is, but still. Alright, so let's go to any thread, doesn't really matter. Flash mob retweets. Awesome. Let's see if Flack has a signature. I know she does. Okay, there it is. Signature appears at the bottom of all of her posts and anyone who has a signature's posts. And like, let's see, at the bottom of every of Aussie's posts it says this. So that's what a signature is. You can edit it in your settings, as I showed. And this is the avatar, just in case you don't know. This is just the picture that you have. And last but not least, the profiles. So here's my profile. You can post on someone's, I don't know if you're familiar with Facebook, this is kind of like the wall. You can post on someone's wall. You can add friends. So let's just go to a random person here. I think I've randomly picked Rugged Land like 2 or 3 times today. That's amazing. Okay, so you can send a private message to someone through their profile. Alright, and let's say I wasn't a person's friend. Let's go back to the forum. Lagging. Oh my. Okay, Infinity Blade. Let's see, I don't think I'm Jason 100's friend. So let's look here. Jason 100. Okay, if you hover over that, maybe if you click on it, there we go. Click on it, you can view profile, private message, that's a PM, private message, add as a contact, or view forum post. So from their profile you can send them a private message, or you can just do it here. You can also add them as a friend through this, or post on their wall, per se. Alright, so that's just kind of the basics. In my next video I'll talk a little bit about how to find things on the forums that may be more relevant to you than this if you've already kind of figured out the forum and how it works. So I kind of hope this helped, even if you didn't know how to post a table, maybe this was helpful, or a poll or something like that. So I hope this was helpful to some of you guys. Alright, I guess I'll leave you with this. If you like cookies, chocolate chip, or any flavor, please like this video and subscribe to our page. I'll come up with something else to like in the next videos. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy parts 2 and 3 of the series. Have a nice evening.